This is a tale about a somewhat esoteric wardrobe dilemma. I'm far from what you might call a men's style expert or anything like that. But in an effort to become a more well-rounded person, I've tried to build a fair understanding of what to wear, when, and how things should fit. I enjoy throwing on a suit or sport coat when the occasion calls for it. But that said, with coats, I've always struggled with a fit issue commonly known as collar gap. This is where the back of the collar sits away from the shirt collar when it's supposed to rest clean against the back of the neck. Like this. See how these collars lay nice and flat? Now look at this. See the difference? To my eye, collar gap is a sloppy look that, once noticed, I can't unnotice it. And while every tailor I've consulted in my area has been certain that they could fix it for me, I've had no such luck. Even experiments with made-to-measure and entry-level bespoke have rendered disappointing results. I don't have particularly terrible posture, but there's just something about the shape of my back and shoulders that causes this issue. After a lot of trial and error, I nearly resigned to the idea that unless I shell out thousands for pure bespoke tailoring, I'll always have poorly fitting coats, and that doesn't seem right, right? So I set my mind on solving this collar gap problem and started to do some research. While searching for some clue that might lead me in the right direction, I stumbled upon a video by British tailor Redmayne 1860 in which head cutter Tom Mahone explains how a shortness of back balance can cause this issue.
And if the coat's fastened, it'll creep off at the back of the neck. The garment doesn't have enough material to follow the full length, okay? Generally, it'll come off at the neck, like that. And that's shortness in back balance.
Huh. Could this be the breakthrough I was looking for? If so, I would need to find the right tailor who would be open and accommodating enough to hear me babble on about my fit issue and possibly give the back balance solution a shot. I thought Luxire might be worth a try. Luxire is a made-to-measure menswear company from India that has been my go-to for shirts and pants for a while, but I hadn't tried any suits or coats. They seem far more flexible than other custom tailors and do a great job of working with customers to get a perfect fit. I already had some gray flannel trousers from Luxire, so I figured I'd order a matching coat, and if it worked out, I'd have a full suit. Through some correspondence, they suggested that, when creating my pattern, they could increase the back panel behind the collar slightly so the jacket sits more toward the front, thus eliminating the collar gap. This seemed right to me, so I decided to give it a shot. Before placing my order, I gathered up all of the measurements that Luxire would need. They sent a comprehensive guide with detailed steps for capturing each measurement based on an existing garment. I decided to use my navy sport coat as a starting point since it fits pretty well, and then I made little tweaks accordingly. Then I put in my order. After selecting the flannel fabric to match my trousers, I noted that I would follow up with an email that would include my measurements, styling details, and I made a reference to the back balance adjustment that we discussed. I also requested their at-home trial fitting service, which we'll see in a bit. I checked out, sent my follow-up email, and then I got back to the business of living my life. About a month passed, and I received a package from Luxire, much sooner than I was expecting. This is what the at-home trial coat looked like. It's a basted garment, which is sort of like a first draft in the tailoring world. After the pattern has been cut, the coat is temporarily stitched together with a loose white basting thread, which provides the tailor with an opportunity to check the fit and make critical adjustments before construction is finalized and the finishing touches are added. No pockets, no buttons, and just a raw interior. Basted fittings are a hallmark of true bespoke tailoring, and most bespoke tailors will require 2 or 3 fittings before the final garment is delivered. Luxire offers this similar basted fitting step as well. I requested this option so we could really focus in on nailing that collar fit. I was very careful when trying on the coat since it was loosely stitched together and I didn't want to ruin it. Right off the bat, it was a comfortable fit and nothing seemed majorly out of whack. And now for the moment of truth. Let's look at that collar. Huh, I have to say, the collar fit was nearly spot on. Definitely a major improvement. The lapels were sitting better than I'm used to as well. I thought the back balance could be adjusted a tiny bit more just to really lock that collar against my neck. As for the rest of the coat, the fit and measurements were quite good. With some additional length on the sleeves and at the back of the coat, I thought we'd be in good shape. I took some photos and sent them to Luxire along with my notes. Their design team looked at the photos, acknowledged my changes, and sent a prepaid shipping label so I could send the coat back for adjustments and finishing. After another month or so, I received another package from Luxire. That was fast. My finished suit coat was packed with a beefy plastic hanger and a nice breathable cotton garment bag. I like the blue. This was the fully finished coat with lining, pockets, tan horn buttons, hand-sewn buttonholes, pick stitching, and everything you'd expect to see. I tried it on, and right away I could tell that this was a significant improvement from other suits and coats that I own. The measurements were nearly perfect, at least compared to what I'm used to. The lines looked great and nothing was pulling or too tight. The shoulders and arms looked clean and the sleeve length was great. The back looked very clean as well, but I wondered if it could be a bit better. Or maybe it just needed a good press. My trousers are stuck to my socks here, so they're hanging terribly, but I also thought that they could be let out a bit so they would look better as well. So how about that collar? Well, let's take a look. Oh yeah! Just look at how well that collar sits against my neck. I call this a victory. Nice! If I were to nitpick, I'd say that the position of the button is a little high for my taste, but it's fine. Also, I prefer a slightly lower lapel gorge. These are things that can't be changed on this coat, but I could request those tweaks on a future order. I had a nice wooden hanger from Kirby Allison's company, the Hanger Project. So I hung my new suit on it and put it back in the garment bag. Next, I took the suit to my local tailor for some adjustments to the trousers and a little bit of cleanup on the back of the coat. The folks at Dugdale Bros in England graciously sent me this fabric label so I could have it sewn into the lining as well. After a couple of weeks, I picked it up. My gray flannel suit was now ready for action. With the holiday season in full swing and an elegant holiday party on the social calendar, it was a perfect opportunity to give it a spin. Overall, I'm very happy with how the coat fit. To be honest, I really didn't think much about what I was wearing. I just had a great time spending the evening with friends and family. Isn't that really the point? This whole process was a fun experiment and a great learning experience. Now that the collar gap problem is behind me, I look forward to ordering a couple more coats someday. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little journey, and for those of you who have had similar fit issues, I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.